Days of Our Lives say that Sophia Choi, Tate Black, and Holly Jonas find themselves on the verge of life-altering decisions. A few simple words from Sophia could send Tate and Holly's relationship into turmoil, potentially altering their future forever. Dual fans have been following the developing situation with Tate and Sophia, who have been working together to facilitate an adoption plan for Sophia's unborn child. While the plan seemed straightforward on the surface, complications have begun to arise that could completely derail their efforts. Sophia, despite agreeing to give up her baby for adoption, is clearly grappling with complex emotions. The weight of carrying this child is shifting her perspective, and there's a growing possibility that she might not be able to go through with the adoption at all. As her connection to the unborn child deepens, so does her hesitation. The more time she has to think about her decision, the more likely she is to reconsider her options, something that could have devastating consequences for everyone involved, especially Tate. Further complicating matters is the deception surrounding Johnny DiMera and Chanel Dupree. Sophia went to great lengths to convince her mother, Amy Choi, that Johnny and Chanel are deeply religious individuals who align with her family's values. The couple, however, does not attend the Korean Baptist Church, nor do they live by the good Christian values that Amy demands in an adoptive family. Sophia's lie may have been convincing at first, but Amy Choi is no fool. She is a woman of strong convictions and intuition, and it won't be long before she begins to see through Sophia's antics. This revelation alone could throw the adoption process into disarray, forcing Sophia to face the reality that she may not have a perfect family lined up for her child after all. And if Amy starts questioning her daughter's honesty, it could unravel much more than just this one lie. Sophia's emotional turmoil and growing jealousy as the adoption roadblocks pile up, it's becoming increasingly clear that Sophia is in emotional turmoil. While she initially presented herself as a young woman ready to move on, there are lingering attachments to both her child and Tate himself. Her recent behaviors suggest that she may not be entirely over Tate and could even harbor some jealousy over his relationship with Holly. This envy might drive her to act in ways that could sabotage Tate's future with Holly. If Sophia begins to see her child as a way to maintain a connection to Tate, she could easily decide that she wants to raise the baby herself, and she may hope that Tate will step up and co-parent with her, essentially bringing them together as a real couple. The shocking 4 words that could change everything as tensions mount. Days of Our Lives spoilers suggest that Sophia will soon make a bold declaration that could upend everything. Instead of following through with the adoption, she may look Tate in the eyes and utter 4 life-altering words. "I'm keeping the baby." If Sophia takes this route, Tate's entire world could be turned upside down. He had been preparing for a different future, one in which he and Holly could move forward without the baggage of an unexpected child. However, with Sophia refusing to go through with the adoption, Tate will have no choice but to step up as a father. Holly's confidence could be shaken. Holly has been steadfast in her belief that she and Tate can work through anything, but will her confidence waver in the face of this new reality? Loving someone who is about to become a parent with another woman is no easy task, and the pressures of this situation could be overwhelming. As much as Holly wants to believe that nothing can come between them, the stress of Tate becoming a father could be the breaking point for their relationship. The strain of co-parenting with Sophia, the sleepless nights, and the emotional turmoil could push Holly away, even if she doesn't want to admit it yet. The fantasy of staying together through thick and thin may be easier said than done when faced with the reality of an ex-girlfriend and a newborn. A paternity bombshell on the horizon? However, there may be another shocking twist in store before this storyline reaches its climax. While everyone has been operating under the assumption that Tate is the father of Sophia's baby, there has never been any real proof of this claim. Could it be that this child was conceived during a different relationship entirely? Days of Our Lives viewers are speculating that the true father might actually be Aaron Green, someone connected to Sophia in a way that has yet to be revealed. If this turns out to be the case, Tate could be in for the shock of a lifetime, discovering that he has been preparing to take on responsibilities for a child that isn't even his. Such a twist would not only shift the entire trajectory of the storyline but could also serve as the one thing that saves his relationship with Holly. If Tate is cleared of fatherhood, he and Holly could finally move forward together, free of the looming obligation that Sophia has placed on him. What's next for Tate, Sophia, and Holly? One thing is for certain. Salem is in for another round of drama, and Days of Our Lives fans will be on the edge of their seats waiting to see how this all unfolds. Will Sophia truly decide to keep the baby, or will she change her mind once again? If she does keep the child, will Tate step up as a father, or will a paternity twist absolve him of responsibility? And, most importantly, can Tate and Holly's relationship survive the chaos? On Friday, Maggie Kuriakis arrived home after a delightful shopping trip to Chicago with Julie Williams, her arms laden with bags from the city's finest boutiques. The crisp February air had done little to dampen her spirits, and as she stepped inside the Kuriakis' mansion, she was met with the comforting sight of Holly Jonas diligently working on her homework in the living room. Maggie set her bags down and walked over to Holly, a warm smile on her face. "Well, sweetheart, I hope you had a wonderful Valentine's Day," she said cheerfully. There was a slight hesitation in her voice, though. Maggie was always perceptive, always aware when something might be troubling someone she loved. Holly lifted her gaze, brushing a strand of blonde hair behind her ear. "Yeah, it was great," she said, offering a small smile. Maggie exhaled in relief. "I'm glad to hear that. I was worried Doug might have, well, disturbed you somehow." Holly furrowed her brows, surprised by the remark. "Disturbed me? No, not at all." Maggie hesitated for a moment before explaining. "Julie mentioned that Doug ran up to the cabin to get his poetry book. I just wanted to make sure nothing unexpected happened." Holly quickly shook her head. "Everything's fine. There's no danger, no drama, nothing at all to worry about." Maggie studied the young woman for a moment. "Good. Doug is such a sweet young man. I'm so happy he came into Julie's life when he did. He's been a wonderful presence for her." "Yeah?" Holly murmured, glancing down at her notebook. "He's nice." Maggie picked up on the hesitation in Holly's voice. "Honey, is something wrong?" Holly blinked and quickly composed herself. She couldn't exactly tell Maggie what was on her mind, that Doug had confided in her about the stolen necklace, that his secrets were beginning to weigh on her. Instead, she covered her momentary distraction with another revelation, one that was slightly less dangerous but still just as awkward. "Doug told me he has feelings for me," she admitted. Maggie's eyebrows lifted in surprise. She sat down beside Holly on the couch, a look of concern crossing her face. "I see, and how do you feel about that?" Holly exhaled, shaking her head. "It doesn't make any sense. I love Tate, I'm with Tate, and Doug, well, he was so embarrassed after telling me. He pulled away before I could even respond. I don't think he meant to say it, and I don't think he really wants to talk about it." Maggie's expression softened. "Does Tate know?" Holly hesitated before answering. "No, but I think he's a little jealous of Doug anyway. He's noticed how Doug looks at me sometimes, even if Doug doesn't mean to. It's just complicated." Maggie placed a comforting hand on Holly's. "Sweetheart, the most important thing is that Doug fully understands where you stand. I know he may be feeling confused or caught up in emotions, but it's only fair to both of you that he knows where your heart truly lies." Holly bit her lip. "I know, I was going to tell him, but he left before I could say anything. And honestly, maybe it's better if I just let it go." Maggie gave a small nod, though she wasn't entirely convinced that avoiding the situation was the best idea. Still, she didn't want to push Holly too hard. After a moment, Maggie decided to change the subject, sensing that Holly needed a break from the awkwardness of love triangles and unspoken confessions. She glanced at the young woman beside her, her tone shifting slightly. "How are things going with everything else?" Maggie asked gently. Holly glanced at her in confusion before realizing what she meant. The pregnancy. The adoption. All the complicated emotions that came with it. Maggie sighed. "I know it's a lot to process, sweetheart. Have you thought about what might have happened if the adoption hadn't gone through?" Holly hesitated, her expression clouding with emotion. "Honestly, I try not to think about it too much. I know what I had to do. But sometimes, I wonder, what if—" Maggie squeezed her hand. "It's natural to wonder, but no matter what, you're not alone in this. We'll figure everything out together, as a family." Holly smiled softly, grateful for Maggie's unwavering support. No matter how complicated things became, whether it was stolen necklaces, unexpected confessions, or the weight of choices she had made in the past, at least she knew she had people in her life who truly cared. And in Salem, that was the kind of love that lasted longer than any fleeting Valentine's Day romance.